Hello, today we'll be conducting Lab 7.2, which is called Melting Three Materials, found on page 115 in your student response notebook. Let's take a look at the materials together. On page 115, melt three materials. Materials: containers, half a liter, paper cups, you will need 3 of them. Thermometers, this is a thermometer with a metal back, margarine cubes, wax chunks, sugar, and hot water. Now that we have all the materials, we'll have hot water in our big container. We'll add the metal thermometer and we'll sit it upright to get an accurate temperature of the water. The temperature of the water, if you look at the alcohol line, it is at about 74 degrees Celsius. So 74 degrees Celsius. Please record that in your student response notebook on page 115. Prediction: will margarine, wax, and sugar melt in hot water? Record your predictions in the table below. Then write your procedures and conduct the test. Now, let's look at the results portion of this page on page 115. If you look at the results data table, you will notice that it says the water temperature in degrees Celsius. Go ahead and fill in 74 degrees Celsius for all 3 materials because they're all in the same bucket of water. So 74 degrees Celsius for the margarine, 74 degrees for the wax, and 74 degrees for the sugar. Here's where you need to do the work. Now it's time for you to make a prediction. Please write yes or no for the following questions. Will margarine, which is also known as butter, melt at 74 degrees Celsius? Write yes or no in the data table. Secondly, will wax melt in 74 degrees water? Please write your answer in the data table, yes or no. And then thirdly, will sugar melt in 74 degrees Celsius water? Please write your answer in the data table. Now let's add the 3 plastic cups. The plastic cups will need to sit upright. Now that we've added the 3 cups into the water, we'll add each substance. We'll add the 1/4 teaspoon of sugar to 1 cup. We will add a piece of butter, or margarine, that is also known as, into another cup. And then we'll add the piece of wax into the last cup. After 5 minutes, let's look at the different materials. First, let's observe the butter. Notice that the butter has melted and is now a liquid, although there are chunks or pieces of a solid. Next, let's look at the sugar. Although it's difficult to see, it's still sugar, and it doesn't look as if it has melted, although some of it is stuck to the bottom of the cup. And then lastly, let's look at the wax. As you can see, some of the wax is melted, and there is a liquid at the bottom, and that liquid is wax, but there's also still a big chunk of it that has not melted yet. Now that we've completed this lab, please look at page 115 and write down observations and complete sentences about the margarine, the wax, and the sugar. This concludes this lab.